najebali, ali nema veze, to je za vaše dobro da svako može da sjedne. Kristina, izvoli.
Hvala, nije trebalo sa ovim. Ajmo sad svi koji imaju jedno mesto prazno između sebe, sedite svi lepo da mogu ostali ljudi da sednu. Znači, samo se ispomerajte ko ima prazno mesto, ajmo da napravimo mesta. Tako je, bravo. Ajmo ljudi, popunjavajte slobodno, sedajte, uđite, ima sa ove strane. Tako, samo popunite sva mesta. Evo ovde imate koliko hoćete, 4 mesta. Ima još ljudi, ajmo 4 mesta imate ovde. Devojke, 4 mesta, evo ih ovde. Koliko smo uspeli da popunimo. Hvala.
Ništa, s obzirom da se sala manje više popunila, da najavim još jednu gošću iz inostranstva. Jednu damu koja je zaista veoma posebna, zato što je reč o glavnoj organizatorki Mondokon konvencije iz Budimpešte. A znate da je Sakurabana u partnerskim odnosima sa Mondokonom. Tako da sada predstavljam Noemi i prepuštam vas njoj i japanskim jezivom pričama, a mi se vidimo nešto kasnije kada Saruman Bugarski bude imao svoju prezentaciju.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. So, as Isidora, I think, said that I'm from Mondokon and my name is Noemi, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Japanese horror legends or myths, and I hope you will enjoy it. So let's begin. At first, I would like to tell you a bit about myths in all the countries in the world. So every culture has their own legends and myths, and there are nice legends like fairy tales and stuff, but in every culture there is a darker side of myths, and I'm sure if I asked you about some dark Serbian legends, you would definitely tell me about some stuff. So, but now I'm gonna tell you about Japanese horror myth, and I will compare it to the Western world. So I might ask you to tell me some stories which you think are similar to the stories I will tell you. But let's begin. So in the Japanese culture, we can define two kind of origins about Japanese horror legends. One of these are the supernatural creatures. These are based on supernatural creatures, and these are basically about supernatural creatures attacking the victims, and in most cases killing them, of course. And we can say these kind of myths are the playing of the mind. So they are not real, of course. Maybe they are real, who knows? But these involve supernatural creatures, which I will tell you about later. And the other legends are based on real events that happened and got really popular, and of course had a little superstitional ending at the end. The other way to compare the Japanese horror legends to compare them when they were born. So there are old cultural legends which were popular even in the 18th century, 17th, or back in the days. Or there are the modern ones, which are more recent. But both of them have the same goal. And their goal is to educate people, mainly children. So these will have some educational intentions, like don't go out in the dark, in the evening alone, or don't bully others, or don't use your computer without backup or stuff. You will see, you will see. Now you are laughing, but you will see that there is a modern legend about how you should always use some antivirus systems. You will see. So let's move on. The first topic of the Japanese legends is numerology. Do you know which number is the unluckiest one in the Western countries? 13, yes, 13. Yeah. And this is a phobia, so we have a name for it. It's called triskaidekaphobia. So if you are afraid of the number 13, this is what the phobia called. And I've heard that in the Formula One races there isn't a 13th starting position. So there were some time, but there were so many accidents that they cancelled it. So even in Formula One they don't have 13th start position. But maybe they have now, but last I checked they haven't got it. And what is the unluckiest number in Japan? 4. Do you know why? Yes, it means death. Yes. Yeah, the reading sheet means death, and that is why Japanese people doesn't like the number 4. And this is why they don't have 4th floor or door number. And mainly in hospitals they don't have, or hotels. Sometimes they have, but they try to avoid it. And the other thing is that Japanese people never give 4 pieces of anything when they are giving presents. They only give 3 pieces of some gifts, or 5, or more or less. But yeah, they are afraid of the number 4, and this also is a phobia, so they call it tetraphobia. So let's move on. I will tell you a bit about the ghosts. Ghosts in the Japanese culture are called yurei, and the meaning of it is faint or dim soul or spirit. So yu means faint, rei means spirit. And they think that all people have souls, and when we die, this spirit, which called reikon at that time, is going to a kind of purgatory. And there, our spirit is waiting for the family, the living family members, to make the funeral for us, which has to be in a strict way, and in a strict way, so the bodies have to be laid to rest in a very how can I say? So in a ritual, as they say. And if this ritual is done, the spirit goes to joins the ancestors, and the spirit will look after the family afterwards with the other ancestors. And the Japanese even have some events when they invite back these spirits and they thank them that they are looking for them. Do you know the most famous ritual when they call back the spirits, thank them their everything, their help, and then send them back? No, not Ojibor. It's a festival. It's called Obon Festival. At this festival, they are inviting back the spirit of the dead, the family members, the ancestors. They thank them that they are looking for them from heaven, and then they send them back to the afterlife. So, but when these rituals are not done properly, or someone had a violent death and the family member didn't bury them, they become a yurei, so they come back to haunt. And these spirits, of course, have very strong emotions, which are keeping them here. So when the family is finally performing the correct rituals in the correct way, these spirits can be laid to rest and they join the afterlife. But if it's not done, and not done by the family, because it strictly has to be done by the family, they are staying here and doing some hauntings and harm for the living. The ghost stories became popular in the 17th century at the Kabuki theaters, and this is the time when they get their uniform appearance, which is, as you can see on the picture, the white dress, black hair, lifeless limbs, and most of the time the leg part can be seen. Well, of course, at the Kabuki theater it could be seen, but usually when you see the ghost, you can see its leg. Do you know why they use this white dress, white outfit? Yes, these are the official outfits they are buried in. So that is why yureis have these kind of outfit, which is similar with the Western belief that the hunting time begins between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So this is the ghost time, the hunting time in the Japanese culture too. So let's move on to some types. Can you tell me some Western type of ghosts? Because in the Western beliefs, they also have some types. Poltergeist, yes. Banshee, I heard Banshee, yes. And regular ghosts, yes. Screamers, yes. Ah, nice. Yeah, so, yeah. I don't want to meet any ghosts in my life, so, yeah. 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 Maybe we could call on the Ghostbusters. Yeah. So let's see what types of yurei they have in Japan. The first one is the most popular one. Is, well, not really popular if it's come to haunt you, but they are the most common ones, which are called onryu. These are the avenger spirits which are coming back to do really bad harm on you and even kill you. The most famous onryu, I think, which got on the movie, is called Samara, from the Ring. So Sadako. Yeah, in Japan it's Sadako, but in the Western type it's Samura. So she was an Onryu. She was an avenger spirit. So basically that's what an avenger spirit does. The next one is the Ume, which is the mother spirit, and it's not that harmful because the mother spirit is coming back to look after that child. And for this, it is stealing candy, chocolate, toys for the child. And that's all, basically. But if you want to harm that child, be prepared to get some really bad harm from the mother spirit too. Yeah, a mother is a mother, even in death. That's the point, basically. Yeah, so there are many types of these legends, and there, I'm sure there is an example in the Japanese myth to the mother spirit, but the best movie and example I saw recently about mother spirit is Western horror movie, which is called Mama. Did you see it? Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, I think. I really got the goosebumps and everything. Yeah. So the next one is the Goryu. It's an aristocrat avenger spirit. So it's basically doing the same as the Onryu, but it's an aristocrat. So maybe it has some other ways to harm you, but it still comes to harm you. And the other way to become a Goryu is having a martyr death. So it might come back to harm those who killed them. The next one is the Zashiki Barashi, which is a child spirit, and it's completely harmless. It's just doing some mischiefs. So it doesn't harm you in any way. It just tries to scare you and well, it is the same as children. They want attention. And ghost children also want attention from the living. Nothing changes. The next one is the samurai spirit. This is a very basic one too. These spirits are fallen in battle, and maybe their remains couldn't be found, and that is why they come back and harm the living. I only can say you one example about samurai spirits, and it's from one of my favorite mangas. It's called Shaman King. Do you know Shaman King? Yeah, so there you can see some samurai spirits. And the next one is a very tricky spirit. And I don't think people who are saying they are harmed by this spirit are really thinking that they are harmed by this spirit, because it's a sadistic spirit who tries to start a love affair after death with a living person. Yes, basically like a succubus. So, yeah, but I don't think many would complain about this kind of spirit. But if you had some experience, just go ahead and tell me. I'm all ears. Yeah, vampires. Yeah, in Serbian and real vampires, not the sparkling vampires. Yeah, in Western beliefs, vampires are these seductive spirits. Yes, very good point. The last Yurei type is the funeral Yurei, and these are people who died at sea. And these spirits are the ones who become the spirits and supernatural creatures that haunt the oceans and other waters of Japan. So you can meet a snake woman there, you can meet mermaids, you can meet other sea creatures. Yeah. And the most common story about snake women is that you see a beautiful young woman in the water and it cries for help because she seems that she is drowning. But when you go to help her, you discover that her other half of the body, her body's other half is a snake, and she drowns you, and it's a trap. So, what is the educational part of this story? Don't go and save some nice woman in the sea who are drowning. So, we have one more Eurotype, but it's a bit different because it's called Ikiryu, which means it's a living spirit. And it has its own will, and you can become an Ikiryu, so you can leave your body during sleep, near-death experiences, or when you have extraordinary jealousy, rage, or other. Yeah, it's like an astral projection, and the most famous story in Japan about Ikiryu is from Murasaki Shibiku, and it's called The Tale of Genji, and it's one of the oldest novels in Japan. And in this novel, there is a very young and attractive man called Genji, and he is a womanizer, of course. But finally he found his love, and they are married, but one of his last ex-lovers become very jealous, and through her rage, this ex-lover becomes a demon and possesses the wife of Genji and kills her. So don't mess with a jealous woman. Sorry? Yes. So let's move on. And this is the very good part of our day. So my presentation, I think, because I enjoy this part the most. So let's move on to the urban legends. I made some types of the urban legends to some groups. First group is the curses. Have you ever heard of the curse Kleenex commercial? Yes? No? So, okay. The curse Kleenex commercial was made in 1986, and it was a tissue commercial. And as you can see in the picture below, there was a woman in it in a white dress picking the tissues from the box, and next to her was a baby dressed as a pumpkin, and there was also a song in the background from Jane Barton, who was singing "It's a Fine Day." And many found this commercial so creepy and so disturbing that they stopped watching it. And the legend says that even some members who were part of the making of this commercial became really ill or had some accidents or even died. So I've seen the commercial, and it is on YouTube. You can watch it, and but it's really creepy. Not creepy. It's just crap, I think. Yeah, it's kind of lullaby, and many said, well, I haven't found the source, so it's also just legend, but many said that it sounds like an ancient German curse. Yes? It is? So it is. An ancient German song. Yeah. Really? Maybe you can sing to us? No, okay. So, basically that was the curse commercial. I found a similar happening in the western part of the world too, and I think it is more common, more famous. It's not about a commercial, but it's about a horror movie, and there were, yes, maybe that too. I found another one, a more famous one, the exorcism, yes. So they said that there were many supernatural happenings there when they were filming in the set, and there were some accidents too, and someone died on set too, yes. So they said that that film is also cursed. Yeah? Yeah, real props from poltergeist activities. Yeah. You don't want to touch anything which what a ghost touched. Yeah. Okay. So the next one is the curse of the red room, and this is what I told about a bit earlier. So it is about. So imagine this: you're at home. You are doing some stuff on your computer, and suddenly a window pops up, and there is a red room on the picture and asks you, do you like the red room? And if you click yes, you will have some other questions, and then after that it will ask you again, do you like the red room? And when you click on it again, well, that's the last thing you've done. Because the next day, the people will find you in your room, dead, and your walls will be painted in your blood, yes. So, the education of this commercial is that use antivirus systems and pop-up blockers. Yeah. I can't hear it, sorry.
On the painter story.
Yeah, there is a bloody painter story in the Western beliefs too. Yeah, it is the same. Well, they have it in Japan too. Okay. The next one is the Inokashira part. There is a curse too. It does some harm, but at least it doesn't kill you. And maybe it's harmless if it turns out good. Because in the Inokashira Park there is a lake, and this lake is near to a Shinto church which is dedicated to a Japanese goddess called Benzaiten. And Benzaiten is a really jealous spirit. Mainly the spirit is very jealous of the love of the couples they are going there. So when you have a boat trip on that lake, well, you suck because you're gonna break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend. And so, but maybe it does you good if said boyfriend or girlfriend wasn't the one for you, but yeah, if that was the love of your life, then tough luck. So yeah, that is the other famous curse. let's move on to legends. I have a bunch of these too. The first one is Akamanto, and Akamanto is about a beautiful young man who has a red cape and a mask, so you can imagine who is the one. That one on the, for you it's on the left side. So this gentleman haunts the gentleman, yes, of course. So this gentleman haunts the toilets, the toilet of women, of course, and mainly the last one, last box in the women's toilet. And the story goes like this: you are doing your job, and a very nice voice asks you, would you like the red paper or the blue paper? And if you say, I would like the blue paper, you will be strangled as long as your face turns to blue and you die. And if you choose the red paper, well, the same story, your blood will paint the toilet red. And the best way to get rid of it, saying that I don't want any paper, thank you, just go away. So that's the deal with them. This is how you deal with Akamanto. And but if you try to trick it and say I want other colors, like, well, yellow, for example, it's maybe the most disgusting part, because if you want yellow, you will be, well, drown in your own urine, yes? So, yes? Well, I want brown. Well, I don't know, I'm sure if you say you want brown paper, it will come with some very clever ideas too. When you say piss off, it won't go away. The best way to make it go away is to say I don't want any paper, thank you. So you have to be gentle with these spirits. Yeah, that's boring, I know. The next one is another toilet spirit, and it also haunts the women's toilet, but mainly the girls' toilet in the schools. And it's called Toire no Hanako-san. And the origin of this story is that Hanako-san was a young girl, and there are two origin stories of how she get to the girls' toilet. Because in the first story, they say that Hanako was a child during the Second World War, and she was playing hide and seek with her friends, and she didn't hear the sirens of the bombing, and that's how she was hiding in the toilet, and that is where she died. And the other origin is that Hanako-san was a very lonely child who was bullied by others, and she killed herself in the toilet. And the story goes like this, that she haunts the fourth toilet in the girls' bathroom. And so if there is a bathroom where the fourth toilet is the last toilet, well, Akamanto and Hanako-san will pick which one of them you would like to. There are many kind of ways she is introduced. She might have big pleas. They say that if you want to meet Hanako-san, you go you don't have to hide. You go to the fourth box of bathroom, yeah, and you knock on the door and ask, Hanako-san, are you there? And if she says that yes, I'm there, you may look inside and you see a girl with short black hair and red skirt and white shirt, and that's Hanako-san. And from this part, the stories differ, because sometimes Hanako-san is just there and doing some mischief with you and goes away, or she has big teeth and does some harm with you, or even kills you, or just brings you with her to the purgatory. So there are many stories about her and many different outcomes of meeting her. But I know that many manga and films are based on this urban legend. So you can look it up on the internet. I think there is a manga called Toyo no Hanako-san, at least. The next one is called Fatal Fair. Oh, one more thing. I was wondering why Japanese horror legends include so many times the bathrooms. And it is because bathrooms are unclean places. So that's why they haunt them. And because when they lay their dead to rest with these cleansing rituals, their cemeteries, if they use the cemeteries, are very secret places, so ghosts, avenger ghosts or any other ghosts who want to make harm won't go there. They are searching for places which are unclean, and the toilets, it seems, are unclean in the Japanese culture. So the next one is a Fatal Fair, and it is about taxi drivers. And the story goes like this. You are a taxi driver. There is suddenly a man or a woman on the street and it calls for you. And this person gets in the car and telling you an address which you haven't heard about in your life. And then, when you complain that you don't know where it is, they helpfully say that, oh, I can help you, I will guide you. And this person guides you through very dark places, alleys, and you get out of the town and you go to the countryside, and time passes, and when you get really nervous now that, okay, when we're gonna arrive finally, you turn back to ask this person that, okay, are we there yet? And when you turn back, there is no one in the back seat, and when you turn your head back to the front, there is a cliff and you go down. So that's the story of the Fatal Fair, and I haven't really found any similar stories in the Western beliefs, except maybe the stories about the hitchhikers and the woman in the white dress. It's similar that there is someone who gets in the car, but you turn back and nobody is there. The killer in the back seat is also similar, but at that part, you know, the spirit is killing you by sending you down a cliff, but the killer in the back seat kills you, or wants to kill you because he's in the back seat. Yeah, the victim. Yeah. So there the ghost has to kill the driver from the back seat. Okay, let's move on. The next one is called Gozu, which is a cow head Did you hear about this story? Have you heard about this story? Yeah. So, well, the real story, of course, you can't really know, because it is so horrible that no one lives to tell you, or they forget, or they became insane. So, yeah, because the most popular legend is about a school trip where the students were going for hiking, and they traveled by bus, and their teacher started to tell them stories to, you know, just pass the time. And suddenly the teacher asked them that, do you know the story of the cowhead or gozu? And they said no. And the teacher started to tell the story, and at first the students were enjoying it, laughing about it, and having a fun time. But after that, the story just had some dark turns, and they started to feel uncomfortable and scared, and they were asking the teacher and screaming to the teacher to stop this story. They don't want to hear anymore. But the teacher had some kind of trance, and she was just saying the story. And after that, when the teacher's mind became clear again, the bus had an accident, and some of the students were injured, the others were in a catatonic state, and the teacher didn't remember how she got there and what kind of tale she told the students. And so the ones who didn't die, they went to a mental asylum, so they can't really tell you what the story was about, or don't want to tell you. The next one is the Jimmanken. It's a human-faced dog, and it is what it seems. It's really a human-faced dog, and usually it doesn't do you any harm. He likes to chase cars, which says that he is really fast. It can be really fast, but basically it likes to be left alone. So if you happen to cross paths with this creature, it's best to leave it alone. When you don't leave it alone, it's gonna bark at you and chase you, and then shout at you very grumpily to fuck off, basically. So it's not very gentle, and it really likes to use rude language. The next one is Kokuri-san, and this is very similar to the Western Ouija boards. This kind of method we use with Kokuri-san. So you also have to have this paper, and you will have a coin to move and get the answers of Kokuri-san, but it's less harmful than the Ouija board, because with the Ouija board you don't know what kind of spirit you invite. But with this, you invite Kokuri-san. And Kokuri-san is an ancient spirit. And this ancient spirit is the mixture of three kind of animals. The first animal is Ko. It's a kitsune, it's a fox. So it's a trickster. The next one is Ku, or Inu. So it's a dog, and it's really loyal, you can depend on him. The last part is Ri, which is Tanuki, and it's a raccoon dog. Have you seen a raccoon dog? They are really cute. They are really cute. They look like raccoons, but it's more like it's a mixture of a coyote and a raccoon, I think. So they are really, really cute. And it can bring you good luck or bad luck. So it can bring you misfortune or fortune. So Kokuri-san is a mixture of these three animals, and you could never know which part of it is the dominant when you speak with it. And the method is that you have a piece of paper. At first you draw at the top middle part the tori, so a gate, where Kokuri-san can enter. You open the windows and the doors to have Kokuri-san enter through there first. And then you write on the left side yes, the right side no, and then you write in Japan, in the case of Japanese language, the hiraganas and the numbers, but you can write the ABC and the numbers too. And then you have to call Kokuri-san. And the coin. You have to put the coin on the tori, so the gate. And when you call Kokuri-san, Kokuri-san, are you here? And when it goes to yes, like the Ouija board, like with the Ouija board, it is here. And then you can ask questions about your life, and Kokuri-san will answer you. But be warned that Kokuri-san can say truth or lies, or even can say you things that would hurt your feelings. When you're done, you have to say that Kokuri-san will send you back to heaven. And when the coin moves to the tori, it means Kokuri-san left. After that, you have to destroy the paper. Some says you have to tear it in like 40 parts or something like this. But the best way to get rid of the paper is to burn it. You have to burn it. And the coin, you have to spend it in 1 to 3 days. So that's the deal with Kokuri-san. And it became a real media hysteria in the 1970s, because many high school girls really like to play this game, and many became ill, and that's why they banned it from schools. So you can't play Kokuri-san in schools like a late now. But and of course you can play alone. There has to be at least 3 of you. You can play it when you are ill. So there are many other side rules of how to use Kokuri-san or play Kokuri-san. But if you want, you can try. Yeah, but I don't recommend it. I made some. I played when I was 10 years old a self-made Ouija board with my friends, and it was a funny thing because it was New Year's Eve, and we played, and we tried to invite Elvis's ghost, and we were really concentrating on this stuff, and suddenly the door banged open, and my friend's grandpa came that, hurry, it's almost midnight, and we were shitting like hell. So we become very scared. So that was the only time when I tried to play Ouija board. I'm sure you recognize the first legend, the Kuchitake Onna, which means the woman whose mouth was cut. There are, the origin of the story is that there was a very beautiful woman who was the wife of a samurai. And there are two different versions of this story. The first version is that the samurai had to go to battle, and he didn't want her to meet other men or have other men beside him if he dies. So he cut her mouth. The other version is that he went to battle, he came back, and he found that his wife had a lover. So that is the other version, and that is why her face, her mouth was cut. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, maybe he was drunk too. But the story goes that when you are going along the streets, walking along the streets in the night, there is a woman who is approaching you in a surgical mask and asks you that, am I pretty? And when you say yes, she reveals her cut mouth and asks you that, am I pretty now? And when you say no, you will be dead. And if you say yes, she will do the same to you, so she will cut your mouth too. The only way to escape from her, to say that sorry, I'm going to meet my boyfriend or husband, but the best way to say husband, because then she will say sorry to bother you and go away. And the other way to get rid of her is to confuse her, to ask back that and what do you think, am I pretty, or just to say that you're average. And this confuses her and gets you the time to get away. The next one is the teke-teke, and teke-teke is a girl who fell on the rail tracks and was cut in half by a train. And this is how she looks like. So she's walking on her arm, her hands, and this is the sound it makes. And it says that you can't outrun this creature because it's very amusingly fast. So you can't really outrun this creature. You are dead if it wants to murder you, because it will murder you, because it will cut you in half too, if she pleases to. So tough luck when you are meeting with teke-teke. Next one is the okiku doll, and the okiku doll is a doll which was given to a girl called Okiku by her brother. But sadly, the doll and the owner couldn't spend many times together because the little girl died at the age of 4. And the family said that they would like to keep the doll, and they put it on the altar, the family altar, because they believe that part of their daughter moved inside the doll. And maybe they are right, because the hair of the doll still grows. And they confirm that it's indeed a child's hair on the doll. And sometimes later the family moved, and they left the doll in Iwamizama in the Manenji temple. So if you go to the Manenji temple in Japan, you can meet this doll. And it's harmless, really. Only her hair grows, and they always cut it back. And that's all. Well, in the movies, they have not so harmless dolls, like Chucky and Annabelle. I'm very excited about the next part, so I'm really looking forward to it. The next and last group of our legends are these four, and I'm sure you know the opera bow. If I say the other name, you might recognize it more. It's a faceless ghost, and you can encounter it in like Spirited Away. I think it's the most famous one. And so opera bows are harmless, really, and these creatures are only trying to scare you, because you encounter a spirit with no face. Yes, basically with no face. But first, you don't know if it has a face or not, because it has a mask. And then after, when it turns around and remove the mask, you can get a real scare. But if you are not prepared, what you will see. But basically, it's harmless. It just wants to scare you. Well, the next one is more bloody. It's the Himuro Mansion. Have you heard about it? Some say yes. This story can be found in, I think, a game called Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame, yes. So they had this story there too. And the story goes like this. There was a twisted Shinto ritual made in this mansion, and it had to be done in every 50 years or so to keep the bad karma away. And this family who lived there in the Himuro Mansion, they had to do this ritual, and because they say that this mansion was at the center of the bad karma. So they were trying to keep the bad karma away. But this ritual was very, very twisted, because it involved a young maiden, and this maiden had to be kept isolated from birth, and this maiden couldn't have any connections with the outside world. And when it come of age, they brought her in the ritual room, and they strangled her to death. And but not just strangle, they pulled her, so they put ropes on their ankles and hands and neck, and they pulled her away apart. So it was very twisted. And with this, they say the bad karma was kept away for other 50 years, sorry. So there was a time when this ritual went wrong, because the last maiden who was isolated, they couldn't isolate him very good, because she fell in love. So her spirit didn't want to go away when she was strangled to death. And the father, the head of the family, was so scared of what will happen to them that he murdered all of the house members, the family members, and the staff who was working there, and then he killed himself too, of course. And they say that if you find this mansion, you will see spirits, and they might try to finish the ritual on you. The next one is a poem. it's called Tomino's Hell, and it's about the boy Tomino and about his hell. And they say that you can read it, but you can't read it out loud, because then that thing would happen to you. You will fall ill or even die. So I don't recommend to read it out loud. And the last one are hitobashira, which are human pillars. And I think you have some stories about this here in Serbia. In Hungary we have some stories about this. Basically it's about people who were buried in buildings to keep them from falling apart. I mean the buildings. So yeah, we have a poem and a story about too, where the one of the builder's wife was buried in a wall. So yeah, many cultures have it. They say that some Tories have human parts in them too. So maybe they say that when you encounter these Tory gates, you may have hear them whisper. So I've been in Japan and I haven't heard any whispering, so maybe they weren't the ones. And that's all. So do you have any questions? We have a little time. Yes? Ibitsu? No. If you have questions, I will answer after this, but for now, thank you for your attention.